to show you a video of me doing stand-up badly because you showed one last time. And 3,
I tried to, but I was just so talented.
I know, yeah, you tried to.
Just like intangible red flag territory. Like he's not saying anything specific,
Interesting.
But like just as he's talking, you're like, do not be in a room alone with this man.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so we can all love each other. No.
All right, great. Okay, great. This is great. What about him is an intangible red flag? Is it a way he appears, way he talks, hand gestures?
Do you know what the word intangible means?
All right, I'm gonna go have a piss. Ashley, you're in charge.
I'm in charge. Bitches.
I went down on a juicy poozy, and
uh-oh, got a fart, and this chair's gonna make it reverberate. Hey, wait! Hey!
Oh no! Everybody else,
Hey!
What's going on? I'm just waiting for music. I thought you were getting music. Oh, I thought you were just getting music.
How my penis gets born.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Here's a shed.
The ice cream cones came with a little metal packet that is just full of sugar. It's just full of sugar to be poured into the cones.
I got what has the Japanese not gotten a hold of, perfected, and then when everyone was like, "You did it," they went, "And now we'll begin." And you're like, "No, you fixed it. It was fixed. Do not break it." Like, no, we got to break this.
I still have some more questions.
Go ahead.
John Hastings is on America's Got Talent for 5 minutes, and now he's got houses in LA and London.
That's right.
Yeah.
You kept a house in London?
Yeah, I've kept a house in London.
Update: not sugar.
There's no fluid tasting enough to warrant sucking it out of him. No, but it was did he do it when he was then in the band when they were the 4 Bee Gees that brief time before then his heart exploded?
Wow.
I'm not saying anything that didn't happen. That is what happened to him.
I'm a predator.
And it was going awesome. And we even started having drinks at a bar, and we each had girlfriends with us, whatever. We're having a great time until I got comfortable enough to go, hey, we share a birthday,
As someone who has been eternally single.
Go ahead. Is it your fault? Yes. No, sorry.
Stop tweeting after your dates, Ashley. Stop tweeting after your dates.
Oh, bad news, Paul. You're getting a Batman bed.
This is not bad news. I am so pleased.
Support them.
But you know what's more important than helping people's mental health?
Fuck you, John.
I'm just saying. Tom, you're a comedy fan.
Here's what happened. So I came up after she finished a couple times.
How did you
I'm not one's not enough.
What
you go for 2. That's how you start it out.
Smoother crunches.
And then Jesus, boom. And so so when I emerged, I went to kiss her and she just grabbed my face and she sucked it all out of my beard.
So hurtful.
That's a literary reference. Oh no, I gotta.
Hey, he can't tie me out now. I'm the only one here. Books, pages. Right. Verb, noun, adjective. Nice. Someone get me that.
I'm very prone to bullying.
No, you're talking about Andy Gibb.
I am talking about Andy Gibb. Pardon me.
Get your Gibbs straight if you want to come at me, bro.
Sorry.
Those nice bearded men and their Aryan friends seem like they're doing very different shows.
Marilynn's got pink eye. She touched her and all.
I tried to. It crawled away too quickly.
It's difficult with tea. Sometimes you try and tune it and you get Assam.
I'm officially declaring it. Jordan is the governor general of the street.
Chris, John, and Irish Ashley combine to make the ultimate team, better than any wet dream. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream. John's the CEO and Boomer. Ashley's the real leader. Chris brings the vibes and juices as our enjoyment increases. Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream.
Hello. Soundboard.
What is happening?
Do you hear that? Did that work?
Yeah, that worked.
Oh, we'll have to
no.
solve this later. That's right.
Do we have sound effects?
We certainly
Ashley,
do, Ashley.
this is bad news.
That's
this
right.
is bad news.
This is really bad news. I am apprehensive.
Because here's when we started this, I didn't have access to the StreamYard, so John would go crazy with videos and pictures and effects and whatnot, and also kicking me out of the room. And so when I joined, and now you're part of it, there's a balance to it. You know, we can be involved, but John having unilateral power over something like this is bad news for everybody.
Couldn't agree more with Chris.
I mean, we can still do this, though. You know, we can still boot him out,
Yeah, but
and that probably boots out the noises too.
And then I'm going to come
let's
back.
find out.
But I want you to know that this soundboard is weirdly balanced. So one of the boards is just plays a pop punk song. So the rest are like that, right? Like just a normal horn, fun.
Yeah.
This is the confusing one.
Is this Jimmy Eat World?
It sounds like a mixture between Queen and Hannah Montana. And I am right.
Is that an original track by the Pussycat Dolls?
It's
Josie and the Pussycats. That's what I meant to say. Goddamn sports days.
The Pussycat. What is sports days? Were we watching sports? What happened with Cincinnati today? A lot of sad people on the plane had a Cincinnati Bengals shirt on. I don't know what that was about.
Oh, that game's not till 3:30. They just think they're going to lose, and they're from Cincinnati, so there's an inherent sadness born into them. I watched the first 3 quarters of yesterday's Philadelphia 76ers game in bed when I woke up, which was great.
Oh, that's right.
And then I've been watching Philadelphia play San Francisco in the conference finals because the Super Bowl is coming up in 2 weeks.
Let me explain this to Ashley real quick.
It's great.
So, Ashley, Chris was watching the town that worships a character Sylvester Stallone play.
Yeah, they love him. Yeah.
The town where all the billionaires live and you can buy heroin on a picnic table. And it's the most insane city I've ever been to in my life.
Opiates for the whole family.
You want to see this right now? San Francisco rocks. I don't understand why people are like, I don't like it now. If you want to
I'd
be
love to
anywhere,
go to San Francisco.
oh, Ashley, and let me tell you, you know how you like a little bit of darkness? It's the perfect town to be where when your best friend dies, because you walk through the city late at night talking to people in the UK super high. And let me tell you, you scare a lot of homeless people, and that really makes you feel good. Where you're like, wow, how sad am I that this guy's like, whoa, I got to stay away from that guy. He seems nuts.
That was the docks. That was where you called me from the docks, right? Was that San Francisco?
That's right. I was in San Francisco.
Hell of a town.
From the docks. Yeah, homeless
Hell
guy
of a town.
moved because I was talking to Chris. Hell of a town.
Hell of a town. Can't wait to go. But it is also like, if you were ever looking for the clearest picture of gentrification, San Francisco.
Oh,
Sure.
like
It's the hardest. I mean, London is bad. New York is bad. San Francisco, they took it all. The whole town. There's no pockets.
No. Here's the thing that is the best about America, though. It is the land of unintended consequences, which is basically they gentrified all of San Francisco, and then those that had been the gentrification landed on top of were like, oh, you didn't kill us. That only made us stronger. Gentlemen, fentanyl to the streets. And like, so all of those nice areas where they bought like $17 million condos, they now have an epidemic of homeless people because California has no shelters, and they're all in San Francisco proper, just hanging out crazy. It is the best.
Yeah. Joe Trope made a good point. Imagine affording to see San Francisco. Here's what's great about doing stand-up is a lot of like poor weirdos get paid to go. And so like, that's why I got to go to Dubai. And I was the poorest person in Dubai, aside from the slaves. And I was just walking around. So we just get like a front row seat to all these things that we should have no business seeing or being near, because we make with the giggles.
Ashley,
and people love that.
I've been to Kiev to pretend to be a Mountie in a gum commercial. There's no logic to this.
There you go.
I could legitimately like if someone's like, well, why do you know that Russia is the bad guy in the Ukraine war? I was like, well, because I've been to Estonia because an Australian man who dated a teenager wanted to pay me to do stand-up comedy there. Yeah. And Ashley, you know something even crazier? Nothing in that sentence is embellished. Not one piece of it.
It sounds like the kind of thing you've made up, but I know that it's not.
Yeah, I did the same tour. I can live. I also
Does
lived
this
that.
tour still run?
He's a fucking weird guy. No, because he's making so much money off Estonian comedy now that he doesn't bring in English comics anymore. He doesn't have to.
Need to do it.
Yeah.
Chris, in Edinburgh this year, I was walking through the underpass, and do you remember the big giant Estonian comedian like Sandor? Remember that guy?
Fox
no,
comedy. It's almost like comedians are terrible judges of character.
Yeah. We're just open-minded, we just want to give it a shot. That's all. Just want to.
It's the unfortunate thing about having a night job. I was thinking about this yesterday when I was talking to a bar manager who started the conversation with, John, what kind of religion are you? And I said, I'm agnostic. And he went, I was raised Church of Christ, but now my mom's a witch queen and I am a, and then he said a word for Norse that definitely sounds like white supremacist.
Yeah, this guy hates black people. Hates them.
Oh dear.
All that was brought to you by stand-up comedy. Turns out he does not. But he is aware that is a problem in his religion.
He does yeah. I think when you work in anything that's evening based, you do encounter the creatures of the night a lot more.
But have you met the creatures of the day?
That's right. I like my guys.
They're almost as sickening.
They weird me out more. And maybe it's because I'm not used to them, but they're creepy and I don't know what they're talking about.
So you have to understand, you're speaking to Chris and I've never worked in an office. I don't know what HR. I didn't know what HR was until like 3 years ago.
My only encounter with this is a terrible story.
Yay!
My only encounter with dealing with a HR for an office job that I had was somebody that was on my team, somebody that I had helped to hire. He became very inappropriate with me, and he took my phone number from the emergency contact list at work and started calling me after hours while I was at home.
What's the problem, bro?
Started with a crime, committed
already
more
started
crimes.
with a crime. Yeah. He started calling me after hours at home, trying to ask me to go out with him for dinner or something. And it just started to make me very uncomfortable. And I reported it to HR, and they sat me down and they said, we're not going to turn this into a formal complaint because it's a very serious accusation to bring against somebody. And I'm like, it's not an accusation. He's done this. I can show you the call log on my phone. It is not an accusation.
Lie you're trying to tell, Ashley.
Yeah. But they were literally like, yes, but it wouldn't be very good. It could really go against him in his career and blah, blah, blah. And I think what they were dancing around was, we're not going to do this because this man is black. And he's the only black man in the office.
Wow. This is one of my favorite ways that companies and organizations are fucking up anti-racism is still not seeing people of color as people.
Yeah. It's like, we need him to not look racist.
It's also what drives me crazy about all that is they think they're helping. Do you understand? So then when it doesn't help, they're like, well, we tried. And it's like, no, you didn't. It would be like, if you're like, well, I tried to fix starvation. I went and shat in front of a bunch of hungry people and said, eat that, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And I eat my actual shit. So I guess poor people.
Or we bought them all like Gordon Ramsay cookbooks. It's like, there's no ingredients. There's no.
The two people that I had a meeting with that were my bosses. It was like a meeting with them and the HR, but they were the ones like telling me we're not going to take this properly through HR or whatever. Those two men were my bosses, and I found out that one of them had said to somebody that he enjoyed the fact that I wore skirts to work.
Great.
And the other one,
Yeah,
when I
totally
was
got
at
that
a
in
staff
memo.
party, he took my phone while I was in the bathroom and took pictures of his arse on it.
What?
What?
This was a
That's so
wild job, and in
weird.
hindsight, I got assaulted or harassed by every single person in that office.
Ashley, were you working at Chugalug House? What the fuck was this company?
This was a call center in Prague.
Oh, of course it was Prague.
Harmony?
Of course it was Prague.
Oh
I
my
got
god.
told to smile all the time, Joe Trope.
Yeah, of course you did.
All the time.
Madam.
And when I got hired, they told me they hired me because an Irish accent is naturally like customer service friendly.
Yeah,
Not true.
absolutely,
Not true.
absolutely correct.
Not true at all. If I
Not
had
true. If
Jesus.
you're not true
Not
if you are serving parking meters, like basically we're taking calls for parking payment services in London. And so most of the calls I was getting was like, I can't understand you when you say the word car park.
Wait, how could
Wait, what?
Because I
can't
say car
understand-
park.
I can't understand this word that I just said back to you.
And what did they say?
Well, no, because I would say, so the line I had to answer the phone with was, welcome to pay by phone. I've just named the company. Anyway. Whoops. Welcome to pay by phone. Can I take the registration number of the car you'd like to park today? And they'd be like, I understood the beginning of what you just said. I don't know what the end of that was. And I'd be like, sorry, I'd like to take the registration number of the car you'd like to park today.
Wow. Pay by phone
Oh.
is a for real company. Our
That's a
mobile
real
payment
company.
solutions serve 60 million.
I was their
users
senior
across
communication
10
specialist for almost 8 months.
Wait a minute. You were both a senior communication specialist and worst toilet user in the history of the Prague IKEA?
Yeah. Yeah, those things like overlapped.
I mean, here's my I love fraud telemarketing and weird scammy companies more than almost anything in the world. Let me ask you this. Are there any people wearing ties and short sleeve dress shirts?
Yes, all the time.
Oh,
It's
the
like
best.
it was a smart casual dress code. That was
course it
what
was.
you had to wear.
But that is the absolute sign that whatever you're selling does not work. If your manager short sleeve dress
It
shirt with a
wasn't-
tie, get out of
It
there.
wasn't sales. It was just like processing payments for paying like car parks in wherever you were parking. It operates in North America as well. We do. We do. Mhm.
Whoa, whose side are you on, Manning? Jesus fucking
That
Christ.
was a Freudian slip. The company.
Fuck.
Oh, I already hate that. I already hate that so much. Well, I don't know if they still do it, but they used to do the parking for the beach in Galveston, Texas.
I've been to that beach with my dad.
That was one of the funniest phone calls I ever had because I was talking to this woman and she was like, because the American system was designed in such a foolproof way that if they were speaking to you on the phone, they were a fucking moron, and it was great. Because it was set up in such a way that you could literally just do it all either on the app or on the answering machine. So they were only ever speaking to you if they'd fucked it up. And so she just couldn't understand what a location number was. And I'm sorry, but if you can see the phone number to call us, the location number is right next to it. Like, it's so simple.
But actually,
And
here's
she was
the
just
thing
like, where's the location number? And she was talking away, asking me these questions. And then she just stopped. Or I think I was speaking and she just like shouted, Noah, get off the road.
How old do you think
And-
Noah was?
48.
I'm
I
picturing
want to imagine him at least like 40 years old. And it is definitely her son, you know?
Oh, Boomstickery Noah is 6. Man of authority.
Wow, such confidence. This guy knows Noah.
It was so fucking funny. I can still hear that. It was so funny.
I don't believe that this company is legal. I understand that you claim that they do everything you're saying they're doing, but just there's something about paying for parking lots and being based in Prague. I don't want to say that I I don't want to.
It's just the call centers based in Prague.
Yeah,
because what they did was they used to base call centers out in India, but they realized that British people are racist.
Yes.
And they don't want to speak to somebody who doesn't sound British on the phone. But there's a very big British community of expats in Eastern Europe. So if they move the call center there, they can still pay them a lot less than they have to pay them if they were working in London, but they get a British voice on the end of the phone.
No, actually, I see what you're saying, but I raised Joe Trope's point. No car park is legal.
Yeah. I think the idea of having a private company take payments for parking where the council or there's like parking authorities that do the actual like giving tickets out or clamping or whatever, I think that's really shady.
Yeah. Can I tell you about something that is legal that I've recently learned about that I can't believe is legal and is now my favorite podcast? Did you know that in Japan you can legally just disappear?
Yeah, you sent me this podcast, the most podcast recommendation I've ever heard in my life. Take me through this. I haven't gotten through this yet. This sounds crazy.
It's
also sovereign citizens rule. If you guys also want to get into First Amendment audits on YouTube, that's a real wormhole that you go ahead, Chris. So what is it? What do you mean it's legal to disappear?
So apparently every year people just fucking ghost. They shut everything down. They get rid of everything. They don't tell any of their friends or family where they're going. A lot of the time it's dudes that are in debt. And they just, so it started with this investigative reporter who's been living in Japan for years. And his accountant just one day, 10 days before tax season, was gone.
Respect it. God, I respect it. I don't
gone.
Like it.
Apartment cleared out. All the phones abandoned. Nothing found. And as he's going through it, as he's learning about it, there's moving companies that specialize in it. So they're moving companies where you call them, you say, I gotta go, and they're there in 15 minutes, middle of the night, clear your shit out. They can give you a new identity in a new city that day.
What?
There are books written on how to disappear, and they're like bestsellers.
That's crazy.
The Yakuza is one of them. The Yakuza is one of the reasons, like, people, if you owe money to the Yakuza, you don't have a lot of options if you can't pay them back. But holy shit, it's like it's a whole industry. An industry is built up around it. And like this, you would think that this, like, helping people absolutely cease to exist would be some sort of crime, or at least in a gray area. But nah, they got business licenses, they pay their taxes, everybody knows it's a thing. They're just like, yeah, man, that's why, like, the cops, when they're investigating missing persons, they're just like, did they leave a note saying that they were disappearing? It's like, yeah, it's like, all right, well, then they don't want to be found, so we're not going to look for them. They told you that was what's going on. Bye.
The more I learn about Japan, the more I'm like, how did I get an answer to my question that has spawned 15 more questions?
Yeah.
Like, it's because also, how long was the disappearing going on for someone to go like, we need to get a moving company? Like, that the idea that there's infrastructure points to, like, this is like a thing. Also, of the three of us, we all can agree that Chris would definitely do this and probably is going to do this.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like that's a very Chris move.
Yeah, just for the rush.
I'm not gonna lie. I have very much considered disappearing off the face of the earth a few times.
And they don't even go. Japan's not big. They just go from like Tokyo to Osaka or something. Like, it's that, and they're just, and they can't be found. They can't be found.
I don't know why, but my go-to whenever I think of this is for no reason Sri Lanka. And I'm sorry, but I would die in Sri Lanka, so I don't know why.
I want to say
my obvious one should really be Canada, but like wait until after I'm cancelled.
We keep track of people pretty hard. No one apparently part of the reason it works is no one has a driver's license, and none of the ID in Japan has pictures on it except for driver's licenses. So you can just like take another person's identity, and all you have is just these like two. It's like the 70s. You just have these two like cardboard cards that say your name. What? And people go, I guess you're that guy, and that's all they need.
Why don't they have photo ID?
They don't need it. It's Japan. They're cool, man.
I mean, this is
they're just happy with you being whoever you say you are.
Yeah, they're fine.
Had to be pointed out to me, even though I lived there for 6 years, is that the UK doesn't really have photo ID. Like, they have driver's licenses and stuff like that, but it's not like a unified database apparently. And then
there's no ID card.
because the ID card was done through the
Hey, we got a raid.
We got raided.
Let's do
Ooh,
a tired
welcome
dance.
in, questing time.
Welcome, raiders.
Who's triggering it? What's going on? Why do we keep freezing thinking it's gonna happen? What's going on?
Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream with John.
What is happening?
What is happening?
No, it was going.
It was happening. Who did
It
what?
was happening.
I didn't touch anything, man.
Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream with John, Chris, and Ashley. Stick around and give us a follow. You are awesome.
We're so slick.
Old French. Old French. It's not even words that French people use anymore. It's all Quebec French. What was that? Did everyone see that? Like, what the fuck was that? Just very important. Just very important. Just a reminder. Everyone needs to know.
Where did Ashley go?
There's too many things now.
Wait, what?
Tories have passed a law that requires voting ID, apparently, according to 1030. What's up, 1030? Good to see you.
Ashley,
I thought you always needed photo ID to vote. Oh no, you need your voting card, but don't you need photo ID to?
Is that, or like you can bring mail?
You need
bring, like,
proof of address.
Bring
Yeah.
like a bill, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was amazed at how easy it was when I voted over there because I wasn't
Yeah.
even totally sure I can.
I got my vote like that, and I can still vote in both countries because it's not been long enough since I left Ireland.
I want to vote in the UK so bad. I keep thinking about, can I join the Conservative Party and the Labour Party and just do it that way? Because I think that that's actually going to how you pick the Prime Minister in the UK for the foreseeable, is just being in one of those parties. Can I just do it that way? I want to say.
Yeah, you can just join. It's pretty easy to do. You just show up and they go, "Are you?" And you go, "I am," and then you're in.
Yeah. Because actually, is it as chaotic over there as it feels when I read the news? Because like you read the news and it really feels like the UK government is just like a hollow shell that's like fallen in on itself, and all the people are kind of like, well, we always felt like we were on our own.
Yeah, it really. I think I heard somebody the other day say they miss Boris Johnson.
Wow. Okay.
And that really feels like a mood that that's not a hopeful place for a country to be in.
That's like when people were like, "Remember how good George W. Bush was?"
Yeah.
Remember those days?
I remember
But
that.
it's the kind of frightening thing when they said that was I kind of went, yeah. Like
at least you know what
kind
to
of
expect.
get why you said that because like the whole Liz Truss thing was just a mess, and then Rishi Sunak is just a damp towel of
There was a whole category on Jeopardy called the Liz Truss Week, and it was just all the things that happened during the week that Liz Truss was Prime Minister.
That's really quite brilliant.
Yeah. Wasn't there something crazy like the Queen died? Like she was the Prime Minister when the Queen died.
She was the last one to meet the Queen.
She was the last person to meet the Queen.
Oh my god! That's excellent trivia. I miss Pitt the Younger. W. Davis. I think my favorite is I miss Clement Attlee, just because the name Clement Attlee I really enjoy.
Clement Attlee's a good name.
I have no idea what he did in history, so we have to be careful because he may have been a British Prime Minister, and you know what that means. Blood is on his hands.
Oh, he was a British Prime Minister, and there's no good ones. So
there's no good ones.
I don't know. I kind of like Gordon Brown, saved the world's economy.
Doesn't count. Didn't win an election. He's like Kim Campbell. You don't really
keep fucking Kim Campbell's name out of your goddamn fucking mouth. Ashley, who do you think Kim Campbell is?
Not a clue.
She is the only female Canadian Prime Minister. She was the Prime Minister for, I believe, 40 days. Second shortest serving Prime Minister after the one my dad worked for, John Turner. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Johnny.
Yeah,
she didn't win. Brian Mulroney stepped down
for throwing an egg. Did that happen while Liz Truss was in?
Oh my god, I do remember that.
Is that something that happened? I don't remember that happening at all.
I don't remember.
I don't.
There was like
I will say I don't listen to the news because I can't stomach it. It just upsets me.
You're missing so much. It is.
I know, but I'm also like anytime it comes up, it just makes me sad, and I can't actually cope with it. Because I panic about the things that I should or could be doing to improve the world in some way, and it's like I don't actually have any power to do that.
You can join the Conservative Party like a good, responsible adult.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Things are nuts. You know what I mean? It looks like Crimea is where they're going to fight this war next. Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro are at war. The Royal Rumble just happened. So it's a crazy news week, Ashley. You got to get into
know
it.
anything about any of that.
Sports is happening. The 76ers are still a team. The
number 2 in the East, baby. Number 2 in the East.
I know that New Zealand got flooded. That's the only thing I've heard this week.
Yeah, with tears over Jacinda Ardern's quitting. That's what they got flooded with.
Where do you think Jacinda Ardern goes from here? I think she's going to end up on Netflix doing some sort of weird interview show.
I think she will do some sort of, that's not a bad show. Some sort of Netflix documentary or something.
So this is a video that George Fox sent us of, I believe, Deputy Prime Minister punching a man over an egg.
Yo. Okay, in 2001. So this is Gordon Brown. No. Is Gordon Brown the deputy?
No, this is Tony Blair.
No, but Tony Blair wasn't the deputy prime minister in 2001.
Deputy Prime Minister got off his bus at Rhyl in North Wales.
Okay, my internet's fucked.
Chris, I'll get it.
Oh, Chris.
My vacations are booked. I'm going to Mexico, then I'm going to Montreal. It's all booked. My February is planned.
What are you going to do?
My Montreal place. I can't wait.
Here's my question in Mexico. I assume you're just going to sit near an ocean and do nothing and drink cervezas?
I'm going to do a bit of that. I'm going to eat.
You're going to read an obscure book.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. They're the only kind I own.
I already want to punch him through the book. Oh, it's a
punch him like this guy.
The Deputy Prime Minister got off his bus at Rhyl in North Wales and quickly realised that to reach the local Labour club, he had to run the gauntlet of a group of largely countryside and fuel protesters.
Yeah.
As he walked through them, a local man chucked an egg at him almost at point-blank range. John Prescott immediately swung round and landed a
left jab.
His jaw. The man then wrestled the Deputy Prime Minister onto his back.
Oh, he so went for him.
Swung round and landed.
I was expecting like a right hook there because his body was starting to turn, and he just came in with a left.
At point blank range. John Prescott immediately swung round and landed a punch straight on his jaw. The man then wrestled the deputy.
Can I just say, the craziest part of it is the egg comes and John Prescott doesn't even fucking
think about it. He just straight in.
Oh fuck! I forgot about John Prescott as a human being. This is a very uncomplimentary way to describe him, but John Prescott looks like kind Jabba the Hutt. You know what I mean?
You know what? I kind of have respect for him doing this because so many state figure people are just so devoid of their emotions all the time.
Ashley,
and this is like a real person.
You would love Jean Chrétien, who a guy broke into the official residence of the prime minister and he beat the shit out of him with a phone. And a guy got into his face in a crowd and he choked the fuck out of him.
Yeah, Jean Chrétien did not fuck around. He was a wild man.
Yeah, he was the middle son of 12 children. When they had the separation vote, he was very much stay in Canada, and 6 of his brothers and sisters voted to stay in Canada and 5 didn't, and then didn't speak to each other for years. It was, that guy's, I love him so much.
Partial face paralysis.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Owned it.
When Canada didn't go to the war in Iraq, they got rid of him. And then when the financial crash happened, Jean Chrétien just did a bunch of interviews asking for people to remember that he was right and fuck you, Steve Harper.
He also had one of my favorite. I think I've said this on the show before, but one of my favorite quotes from a prime minister, which was, "Mr. Chrétien, how do you feel about marijuana being decriminalized? Because it wasn't legal yet, but it wasn't like you wouldn't go to jail anymore." And he says, I think you will find me with a joint in one hand and the money for the fine in the other hand.
He was a badass.
That's good.
There's a famous family story of mine, which is he wrote a book, and my grandmother went to go get it signed, and then got into a giant argument with him about his policies. And I was a baby, and then I was the loudest, screamingest baby. So apparently, my grandmother yelled at a soon-to-be Prime Minister of Canada, and then followed my shrieks to where she found my mom and was like, "We got to get in the car." It was, and there's a photo of it where he's like signing.
That feels like a formative moment for you.
I was like 3 months old, but it is very much my.
So I feel like it imprinted itself on you.
Very much. Oh yeah, screaming.
Because that attitude is you. That attitude is exactly what is in that video you posted recently of you dealing with a heckler that comes on stage.
I still haven't watched that. I watched like the first 5 seconds, and I was like, I can't deal with this right now. I'm going to come back to it later.
What's
a friend of mine who is not a comedy person saw me share it on my Instagram, and she watched it and has since watched every piece of stand-up of you online.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, no, it's doing pretty well. So what happened was, this was 2 weeks ago. What's annoying is it's 13 parts, so there's like a lot more rev up to it.
Really?
The video you see, I lose it pretty quickly.
Mhm.
But
you
yeah,
can tell that there's tension before it, though.
Oh, she was such a fucking asshole. A real bowling trophy of a human being. Anyway, so
you can just buy those.
So, that's right. Full disclosure, everybody. I have had an hour's sleep, and I don't know why, but what Chris just said might have been the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
That's my target audience, sleep-deprived people. That's the wavelength that I want.
That's the achievement of every bowler or anyone really with a trophy. Look at this trophy for playing football. I just bought mine.
Yeah, I got tons of them.
Who used to live? Yeah, I just imagine Chris trying to disappear with all his. No, we got to bring all these trophies I bought all.
One's for best escaping,
you really tickled him there, Chris.
Yeah. It's easy. That's my trophy for best escaping. I'll have a stroke for being sleepy. So yeah, I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. This guy keeps checking his phone because he's checking on his kid or something like that. And by the way, like his seat is bare, like next to him the entire show. Eventually, this woman comes back who's a real, how do I say this, bar star asshole. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
A real, to use fringe terminology, a real, oh no, I don't want to talk to that person in the loft bar. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
That's right. And anyway, I engage with her slightly. I did start it. And then she starts just screaming random shit and interrupting. At one point, she goes, "Don't fuck with me. I'm from New York." And this hasn't been edited, but then I made some very mean 9/11 jokes, like very mean. Like, I hope that you live near that tower and someone you love was in there. I think, I don't know. We got very mean and heated. And then she kept telling me to shut up. And then it picks up where that clip is where she's not going to stop talking. So I try to kick her out. She walks on stage. I ran away. In the moment, I was like, is this the right thing to do to run away? And watching the clip, that was exactly the right thing to do.
It was.
Yeah, that would have been a fight.
It was
I haven't even
aggressive
seen it,
looking.
and that would have been like a fight. I can tell from the way she's telling.
Well, yeah. Because then she jumped on stage. The bouncers, she like tried to shove them. The bouncers grabbed her, dragged her off stage. The entire crowd singing "Sweet Caroline," which I found out in North Carolina is a thing. At like weddings, at the end of it was like the first person super fucked. It's like a thing in the South. That like when people start leaving or if someone like makes a mistake, you sing "Sweet Caroline." That whole part of the world is just I'm here for it, but it's out of its.
There's a lot of "Sweet Caroline" is sung a lot in Ireland as well, but for like a totally different reason.
Go ahead. What's the reason?
Well, instead of it wouldn't be sung if people were failing or had made a mistake or something. It's like it's sort of just like an end of the night hurrah sort of song, you know. It's like if you get a lock-in in a bar.
Yeah, I think actually that's probably
it inevitably breaks out.
Yeah. Well, it's the perfect sing-along. You don't need to know any of the words. You need to know hands holding hands, touching me, touching you.
Yeah.
and then
It's
Sweet
a
Caroline,
wedding song.
ba ba
It's
ba.
very
And
much
that's
a
it.
wedding
Are there
song.
any other words to that song?
There's whole verses.
There's like whole verses, yeah.
Caroline
But
kills
nobody
a
knows
guy
the
just to see him die.
Oh yeah, there's that whole part where Caroline tries to move that train further down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
it's wild. She goes to Folsom Prison. She gets the blues.
Why wouldn't you? She's so sweet.
Yeah.
And she took that job in Reno.
That's the ba ba ba. Those are the 3 shots that she shot into that man.
It's right up there with the Cell Block Tango, you know.
Solid Chicago reference.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Chicago
what
doesn't get enough love. Then what happened
Chicago's
was she
great.
got dragged out by the bouncers.
Chicago
and
is one of
ran
the better musicals and gets frequently forgotten.
I completely agree. In many ways, it didn't have that coming. Get it from Chicago? He had it coming.
If I had one of your sound cues.
Huh?
No, not quite that one.
Oh, you mean this one?
No.
Nice. Nice.
Oh dear. Did John take himself off?
In many ways.
Oh dear.
So how did it end? How did it end? Was she carried out?
I think I mentioned this on the stream again, but no, her, as it was revealed later, her son jumped on stage, kind of like grabbed her jacket, ran out of there. They jumped in the car.
Oh, that was her son.
That was her son. That's right.
Wild, because that guy.
I've seen this before. He was ready.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially because they then drove immediately to the hospital, and she started claiming that she was assaulted at the comedy club. So then the police arrived. Let's get into what was John doing at that time? Well, John just sort of relaxing after a show and really felt like he was a psychopath because everyone was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "That's not nearly the scariest that's been this year." They're like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, like I could have killed her. Like I had 3 guys come after me and there was no security. Like I don't even give a shit, man. Like yeah, we're all good. Like don't worry about it." And they're like,
Hell of an industry. If you're thinking about doing stand up, it's so easy.
It only happens to me. Here's the thing I realized it this weekend when I had a heckler every set. Is it just I think there's something about my fucking face where people are like, I want to yell at this guy. Oh my god, guys.
Oh, big follows.
We haven't had one of these in so long. I don't remember.
Yeah, because this one is letting us know that their price is lower than any competitor, and the quality
There are
is guaranteed
competitors?
to be the best. That's right. No. Does this have anything to do with EG Clans? What was that fucking that scam?
that was that game. Shit, I can't remember. City building dynamics. I can't remember all the buzzwords from it.
Oh, it was absolutely ridiculous.
EG Clans. That was great. There's Richard Wright when you need him.
What were we talking about?
So you get
you get a lot of
you and Jamali are the 2 most heckled people I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, and ironically, do you know who's had to escort hecklers from all these shows?
It's not just your face though; it is your entire body language, and
there is you're confrontational as a comedian.
You're very confrontational.
I am very confrontational.
Yeah,
correct. Yes,
and for people who are also confrontational, and for people who have those irrepressible egos, they can't deal with your entire existence.
And this is a quote of a comedy club owner, which is, most comedians stop when it's most comedians stop making fun of them when you've won. You stop making fun of them 20 minutes after the show is over.
That's exactly it. Yes.
But it's what I find very fascinating is that I'm at this point now where I literally can telegraph the tables. I can be like, that one, and that one is going to be a problem. And almost like I literally had a drunk woman for half an hour last night, just trying to explain to me that what I was saying was exaggerated. And it was the most mind melting experience I've ever had.
Right.
Like she was literally like, no, but I was like, that's stand-up comedy. Like she's like, no,
everything's exaggerated. That's the point.
Jerry Seinfeld's never been on a bus, motherfucker. Like,
That's like in one of David Cross's specials, right at the start, he says something like, "I think women are smarter than men," and a woman goes, "I don't know," and he's like, "Well, you don't think I did my research? You don't think?" And it's like, yeah, we're just saying so. The best heckle I've ever heard was, "You've purposely misunderstood that."
Who was that said to?
Yeah, who did you yell that at, Chris?
I think it was, I can't remember if it was Garrett or if it was at the show that I used to run with Garrett. Garrett was involved, Garrett Miller. But I can't remember, but it's so funny. It's such a great, you might as well yell, "You're doing stand-up comedy."
Yeah.
It's just so good.
You purposely misunderstood. That's excellent. That's so funny.
My personal favorite thing that a heckler's ever yelled at me, which was just "enough," and I just always thought, like, you and I are just not going to enjoy each other's company, and there's nothing I can do about it. I've always respected that. Enough.
I would love you to get that on a T-shirt. Just the word "enough."
I mean, the video footage is in the archives of the Gilded Balloon somewhere, because it was at a late live where, like, I brought an act on him before that act. A woman had to be carried out by security, and she grabbed a hold of the door frame, and I watched a bouncer come back and go like bing, bing, bing.
Like in a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah, and then her boyfriend squared up with the bouncers, and he, like, in the hallway, and then he went, "No, but we're doing this one at a time," and they all started laughing, and they're like, "No," and I heard that from stage. Oh God, what a crazy time! Heckling John is encouraged. No,
it's inevitable, is what it is.
It is, yeah. It's just incessant.
Yeah, I don't get it. I almost got heckled in Port Alberni a few months ago.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah. What is that?
As in, the guy sort of like, it was the story that I tell about a strip club where the one of the strippers like takes a poster, and it's a whole thing, and then at the end, the guy, like 45 seconds after I finished, the laugh had ended. I started into a new bit, and he says, "Fuck you got against eating pussy?" It's like, what? Didn't mention eating pussy once in the whole. It's not a part of that joke.
Was it like an act that was on 2 acts before you or something?
And I remember he was right in the front row, and he was just like glassy-eyed drunk. And I remember I turned to the crowd and I was like, "Oh, we're about to have a very different show. That's what's about to happen." And two of the guys in the crowd were like amped. They wanted comedian destroys heckler come to their town. And I remember I turned to the guy and he's like, "Fucking bring it on." And I just said, "Oh no, you misunderstood. I don't want to fight you. It's just that you're so drunk. You are commenting 45 seconds after a joke ended. B, didn't understand the joke at all. And you're right in the front row. So if you're going to keep doing that, we're going to have a very different show. I don't want to fight with you, man. You're just a fucking mess." And the guy went, "Oh, fair enough. Sorry."
Now, let me take you through how I would have handled that. I probably would have sat on a stool, not facing the audience, for about 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I would have done some weird accent, really talked about like Taco Tuesday night when I was growing up as a kid, and then fundamentally insulted that guy in a way that you can't really take back.
Yeah, your tactics are very different.
Yeah.
Listen, some people say a good defense is a good offense. I say a good offense is a good offense. You know what I'm saying?
I think that our heckling responses are fight, flight, freeze.
Oh yeah, no, I want to I want to give them every chance to be a good person, and that way when I snap on them, I feel zero guilt. And so like I had one at Spank where I was like, they were kind of heckling throughout the show. I was on the last, and it was for some reason the whole left quadrant of the show. Spank's in 3 quadrants. There's to the right, to the left, and up front. The whole left side was a bunch of fucking cunts, and all of them popping up with different bullshit. And at first I was like, knock it down, fun, knock it down. And then at one point I just turned, and then for 20 minutes I didn't face the audience, and I said the most personal, hurtful, cruel things I could think. I asked one woman if that was her dad or her pimp.
Me?
And then I just turned around and I was like, thanks for having me. And I was in the left side. All right, well, you're a piece of shit. And there's a photo. I got a standing ovation. That was the only standing ovation I've ever gotten. I got a standing ovation from 2/3 of the room. But I'm happy to do that. I just don't want to go straight to it because it ruins the vibe. Like, then I can't have fun because my blood's too up and the audience is too, and there's no following it. So I'd rather.
I love the journey of like, let's smash this to bits and see if we can put it back together. Like, I love that.
the Patrice O'Neill, I'm not going down alone. You're coming with me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, we're in this together. I'm like, come on. Like, what are you doing? It's also what drives me nuts the most, and we've all seen this, is when there's a heckler and a comedian just ignores it. I watched a guy shush someone in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I almost walked on stage and took them. Give me your microphone. You're fired from comedy. You're shushing. What are you, a fucking Sunday school teacher?
Absolutely ridiculous. And we're like, if people are talking really loud and the comedian flat out refuses to address it, just keeps going with the show, it's like, grow a pair, man. This is
okay.
You can't be this frightened of altercation. This is crazy.
You know,
I mean, you can. Because I'm frightened of it.
Yeah.
So, you guys know there's the clip online of me being heckled by Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was the 8th comedian. Dennis Rodman just was doing that for 7 other comedians while I stood at the back.
You were just the first one that
I just said, is
acknowledged
someone
it.
going to attack Dennis Rodman? And they were like, well, no, we'll get in trouble. And I went, from who? And then they're like, is Phil Jackson going to come down here? Like, well, fucking shape his mustache. Like, what are you fucking talking about? And yeah, it's just the most bizarre attitude I've ever heard. Like, but again, it's one of those things where we have different, but yeah, just I went, shh. Oh,
I've never shushed anyone.
No, you wouldn't be on this show if you were a shusher, madam.
Yeah, we would have sniffed that out day one.
Yeah. I honestly, I haven't been heckled that often.
Good.
I haven't.
That's a good thing. Yeah, you're not a confrontational asshole like me and Jamali. That's very true, actually. And it's different. Even the way Jamali and I do it is different. Like Jamali picks a lot of fights. We're used to.
But also, there was a lot of like upper middle class people who just couldn't listen to a working class black guy say the things he was saying. Like, you saw it bubbling under their skin, and it was like they held it as long as they could, and then that was a wrap. My favorite, the best response to hecklers I've ever seen. I think about this sometimes when I'm walking down the road, and it was 6 years ago that I saw it. Was Milo McCabe doing, what's his character?
Troy Hawk.
Yes, Troy Hawk. He was doing Troy Hawk. And he's like, someone heckled him. We were in Glastonbury, not the festival, just like a one-night room. And someone heckled him. And he went like this. He went. I learned this from the Dog Whisperer. If something is being aggressive, you show it your vulnerable points so that it knows you're not a threat.
That's excellent.
I've said it before.
I died laughing.
Great.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Milo McCabe, especially now the introduction of the Greeters Union fucking videos. That character is so fucking perfect and well formed. Although I do miss, he doesn't do it as much anymore, but he used to, after every joke, dance a little bit, which was the fucking funniest thing. Ashley, did you ever see him when he would do this? He would hit a punchline and then he would shimmy. He would go like, I just remember this. He would go, it was something like he went like croutons, and then he just went.
I don't think I've ever seen him.
Oh, you'd love him. He talks about Weatherspoons being poetic, whether spoons or forks.
There's nothing about it. It's Milo. Okay, Troy Hawk as a character. This is wanky as fuck to say, but I stand by it. That character, he would only have a career in Britain. That wouldn't get out of open mics in America because they wouldn't see the genius of it. Only in England, where everyone's so obsessed, they don't ever want to be seen to not understand something, that they let so many things go that brilliance just got in. Oh, it's so fucking stupid. I love it so much.
It's the like they're the one scene aside from France that still has like a vaudeville background. They allow for more variety acts, sillier things that like no one else does. He would have gotten bullied immediately in the Canadian open mics and would have just become John or I.
Yeah, why
There's
are you
no
wearing
fucking way? There's no way that you would have been. That's why that's that Dylan Gott thing where he's like, you ever notice that all Canadian comedians dress like shit? It's like, yeah, because Canadians are bullies.
Yeah,
so you can't dress well.
I didn't buy. Yeah, you can't. I didn't buy white shoes until I lived in the UK for 3 years because in Canada, some people just scuff your white shoes.
Yeah,
this is the biggest example. This is the biggest example of Canadian bullying. Now, Ashley, I have a question for you. If you're dating a man and then you cheat on that man with
I know the answer to this already.
Go ahead. What is the answer?
They're allowed to punch each other or something.
Right. You're allowed to punch each other. No, the original man is allowed to punch the new man.
He's allowed to punch the new man in the face.
Those are the rules. Yeah,
Those are
and the new man will probably take it.
Yeah, and know what's even crazier is that I will never not live this down, which is sitting at a table and there's 4 Canadians and then 8 Americans, and the one Canadian goes, so yeah, I know where my ex-boyfriend, I know where my ex is, like the guy she cheated on me with, I know where he works. One of these days I'm just gonna go down there and punch him in the face. And like the 3 other Canadians, I just remember being like, yeah, that's fair. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Brittany was next to me and just was like, that's not how that works. And I just remember being like, she just doesn't get it.
It's a different. They say Americans and Canadians are the same. We're not the same.
Not the same.
We believe in justice.
No,
That's our difference.
We believe in fist justice, not justice, as I call it.
The only justice.
Well, sometimes violence is the answer.
Welcome to UTS, everybody.
Right.
Hey.
Now we're talking about some merch. I'd wear that shirt so every day. Sometimes violence.
We should really get our fingers out and make it.
Imagine John wearing a shirt that said sometimes violence is the answer. Imagine the number of times you would get punched cold in the street.
I would walk,
just cold.
If I walked close to a black-owned business, they would just close for the day. They're like, I don't even know what this man believes in, but we don't want to find out.
That's one of my new favorite things, meeting new people, especially in in entertainment. I did a show a few days ago where I would do a set and then an improv group would come out and they would do like a short bit around the themes of my set or whatever. We go back and forth and talking to a lot of people now. If something controversial comes up, there's this great where are you gonna go with this in all of their eyes as you're going. It's like, this is a suspicion I'm not used to. This is very fun. I know where we're going and it's gonna be fine. But you are uncomfortable and that is fun. Hey Bex, what's going on?
Bex.
Bex.
Welcome everyone. I don't think we've actually
except the
really
podcast
said hello
listeners.
to the chat
No, fuck
or
the
the
podcast
podcast
listeners.
listeners.
Hi everybody.
Attention podcast listeners. Rotten hell, you fucks.
I wonder if they've actually left us.
No,
because we insult them so often.
Adam, I keep an eye on those analytics. If anything, are ignoring them is helping.
There we go.
I think about them sometimes. I feel like if I was one of the podcast listeners, I would relish that and I would never watch the live stream.
Oh,
and
exactly.
I would live as an
as a point of principle
within this. Yeah, fuck me,
Yeah.
fuck you. Also, I like the show though, so I'm gonna stick around.
Yeah. What's nice about this show is it's so fucking slapdash. I think it accidentally becomes art, and then the fact of not having the visual element
silly.
makes it more insane because there's entire things that are just. What the fuck is that? They're fucking nowhere. Just having a fucking
I'm sorry.
job.
Okay, one of us just got murdered,
Yeah.
Oh.
and that's what that noise means.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Chris
that's
said.
the cheer. That's the cheer.
That's the
Oh,
cheer.
okay. All right, I'll mute myself
It is
because
now up to the podcast listeners and the podcast listeners only to solve A, who has been murdered, and B, why they have been murdered. And
you
by
just
who.
said I was murdered. You just said.
Yeah, Chris is murdered. You just said Chris is
Oh.
murdered, so we figured out who Chris.
No, I
Yeah.
said one of us has been murdered.
Oh, it was John then. John gave it away immediately. Like
Yeah.
all good murder mysteries. It's evident right at the start.
That's
And
right.
then-
Like all good murders, it was someone that he knew, and the person confessed almost immediately. Oh, coming in from Steve Mooney. I'm a podcast listener because I missed so much the first time round. I need another listen to catch up. Steve Mooney, that is true. Our
We
comedy
do
comes
say a
thick and
lot
fast.
of absolute nonsense that can easily
Oh.
be missed out if you're not paying attention.
That's funny to me because I would have thought it would be the opposite. That we're not like a complex hip hop song. Go fuck yourself, Steve Mooney.
Oh, guys, I don't know what to tell you, but I gotta tell you, I was
Our
really
chat are so nice to
street.
each other. It's such a lovely community in here.
The 1 hour sleep, but holy fuck, we really fucking are putting down when I'm picking up. Oh my god,
Like the man that got cheated with. Steve took it on the chin.
Goddamn right. Steve Mooney, this one's for you.
Yeah, I bet Ashley licking her teeth was better on the podcast. It was fucking unnerving to witness.
Ashley, has it ever been explained why you gave Chris the old yum yum?
I wasn't giving it to Chris.
Oh,
I didn't think you were for a second. I didn't know what was
I
going
wasn't.
on.
I just went to another place in my brain.
Understood. Yeah.
Yes.
We've all
That
been
place was the horny place.
is that true?
Yeah, no, we all figured that part out.
Yo. So sorry I missed it.
I've realized I do it a lot though, but now because of that, I catch myself doing it and it unnerves me as well.
It's very predatory. It's very
It's
lying
just
in the
something
tall
I do
grass.
when I'm like not
It is
focusing,
very-
you know?
It is very lying in the tall grass, I gotta tell you. Like it's a real yipes.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, you know what? It's not. It's not brunch. It's not brunch.
Oh,
It's not. It's not brunch.
Really not brunch. Oh god, I could really go for a brunch right now. What are they? What's the taste of a brunch, Ashley?
It's
Oh,
sort
that's
of
such a good-
it's sort of I think it's meant to be strawberry shortcake.
Oh, that's gonna be good chemicals. That's like a real
It's good chemicals. Yeah, it's the good chemicals, the really sweet, sugary fairy cake chemicals. You know,
You know what I think about all the time? I now have status on American Airlines.
Nice.
And they have so much food that's just open air out. And I just realized while I was eating a muffin where I was like, oh, the amount of chemicals I'm right now. Like this, like I was like, oh, I just ate a little treat. And I'm like, go ahead, Ashley.
I flew down to London last week.
Oh.
And it was my first time ever flying with British Airways.
What?
I'd never flown with British Airways before.
Yeah, Ashley's never been on a plane. She's never seen a film. Those two things go together. That's
I've only ever flown with Ryanair and Aer Lingus and EasyJet.
Aer
And
Lingus.
so
I'm
Aer Lingus
sorry.
is the best one. Aer Lingus is the best one.
But between those other two, most certainly.
It's Aer Lingus is the best airline I've ever flown with. I may have flown with something else when I was younger, but I don't remember. But I have never flown with British Airways. It was a really nice experience.
Yeah. It's usually
Well,
quite
the
great.
first flight was I got lulled into a false sense of security, and then we got very delayed the next day. But I got a free breakfast bar and free bottle of water on the way down. And then on the way home, I got a free bottle of water and a free packet of sour cream and chive pretzels,
nice.
which are the best kind of pretzels.
Also, I just want to go back up here. What do you mean? What? They don't give you food on any of those other on Aer Lingus? They don't give you like a little breakfast bar and a little bottle of water?
No, you gotta buy it. You gotta pay for everything. You gotta pay for everything. Yeah.
No. This is why you go with people in the One World Flight Alliance, guys. Am I Sapphire? Indeed I am. It's because you know what? It's the little things, like a complimentary bottle of water. Or the fact that there is a dedicated line for Sapphire members to complain about any little thing, which I do. And let me tell you, it makes me feel really happy.
Oh, you are absolutely a nightmare customer.
I'm absolutely fine as long as you do the right thing. It's just like when you dump a whole curry on me.
That's how everyone feels when they're complaining. If you weren't being illogical, then
No, because
I wouldn't be here.
I had a whole curry dumped on me, and I was in a middle seat because they fucked up the thing.
I remember that.
Going to Paul's funeral, and then when I was like, I have a whole curry dumped on me, and the woman went, "What do you want me to do about that?" And I just went, "What did you say?" And she went, "I'm gonna go get my supervisor."
Fair.
I
Very
like that. Tapping
reasonable
out.
response.
Not.
But this is what I'll give the English. What they lack in morals, ethics, reasonable understanding of human beings, they will walk away from a bollocking and pass that on to someone else. And then I would do the same thing.
You have done the same thing.
So wouldn't you? There's someone else who could get yelled at about this. Time to go.
Except I'm usually the person that gets passed on to.
You want to make sure that you avoid that.
Has I've got this like discourse going on in my Twitter right now about the difference between what French people are willing to put up with and what British people are willing to put up with, because France is on fire right now.
Something about this as well.
Best, yeah. France is literally about to burn the Eiffel Tower and shove it up Macron's asshole because he's like, you guys can't retire at 64 because it will sustain our economy. And they're like, it's called fucking Bastille Day, bitch.
And so I'm wondering if that's like made it into the mainstream conversation at all. I think I'm more asking like our viewers on this one, because like I'd love to know that, like, someone listed out the things and British people are like, shucks.
This is what the English would think of that as. It's like, can you believe the French think they should be able to retire at 64? That's what I guarantee the English discourse on this is.
It's basically that, yes.
I actually kind of agree with Boomstickery. This is what I think the problem in England is there's an amount of apathy of like, this is good. Suffering is good.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be. It's insane.
Yeah, I think, there's definitely this like attitude of you're meant to get through tough times because it's what the people before you did, and don't dare complain, or if you're being fucked, just lie back and think of England, as it were.
Imagine how horrible that would make sex. If the sex is bad,
I guarantee you that is the sex that a lot of English people have.
I mean, I don't know. I've had sex with a fair amount of English people, and every single one of them didn't seem like they were thinking about the country. You know what I mean?
Yes, but they were open-minded enough to have sex with somebody who's not English.
Fair point. That is a fair point. And yeah, to some of them, I was a real exotic choice.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Not from my town. Come with me, you exotic something or other. Ever been called a whatchamacallits by someone's dad? I have. It's weird.
Say that again.
You ever been called a whatchamacallits by someone's dad? I have. It was weird.
Whatchamacallits.
I'm really tired. I'm really impressed I was able to remember what I just said.
Oh no.
I was so disappointed the second time I came through the UK because Canadian stock is exotic. It dropped completely. It had full Bitcoined. When I was around, when I was like in my teen years, buddy, I was special.
A real cat.
People had never met someone like me, and that was a big deal to them. And then I came back the second time, and they were like, "Yeah, we see you fucks all the time." It's like, God damn it, God, I'm single this time. This is bullshit.
That is bullshit. Yeah,
I find I have a bit of novelty in Scotland because I look really Scottish but don't have a Scottish accent. So I always found there was always a little bit of the like, "Whoa, where'd you transfer in from, new boy?" That's what I always found with the Scottish bonny lasses, and that's what I would refer to them as, and they really enjoyed it. Hello, little Scottish bonny lass.
A friend of mine from home, an Irish friend of mine who lives in Glasgow, got very, very much like she was involved in essentially a sectarian violence incident like last week.
Yeah, Irish.
Yeah. So she was in a pharmacy, and these lads just like came in, and one of them said something crooked to her, and then she kind of said something back to him, and he left, but he came back with like five other kind of Glaswegian lads to come in, and I don't remember what she said they said to her, but they were very much being like, they insinuated something about a bomb threat to her, and then they said something else, and she ended up spotting that there was a man who had been in with one of the original guys who seemed like he might have been one of their dads or something, and so she said to him, "Are you going to get these lads to leave, before they get booked and arrested. And he just literally, she said he did nothing but shout the word out, and they left.
Wow.
But like they fully came in with loads of like anti-Irish abuse at her.
Fucking,
It's
I find
insane.
the sectarianism. Did I get that word pronounced right?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. In Scotland, the most like, really, we're doing this here.
People make Glasgow.
Glasgow, the only place where I saw a man kick a seagull and said, "Fuck you." I'd just be like, "What?
Yeah.
Who kicked that bird, bro?" Like, oh my
Baldy
God.
is shocked to hear of sectarianism in Glasgow. Yeah.
But it's when it's done in Scotland, I'm always just like, you guys too. We're really like, we're doing this again. You know what I mean? Like, really?
It's really just like this is what you get upset about the English doing to you.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
there's like
But there's always somebody being oppressed. It's turtles all the way down, whatever that thing is.
But like I
I
don't
don't think
know.
that's the right analogy at
yeah,
all.
I think so. Yeah. There's
I
like
gotta say, you
this
sold
thing
it
that I
well.
didn't
You
expect
too long.
that's happening right now, where we've got people are like, it's an unstable time. No
Mhm.
one knows what the future looks like, let alone the present. And people are all over from all different groups falling back into like the comfort of old prejudices.
Oh yeah.
There's like a safety and a warmth there that I didn't anticipate to be the case among
Mhm.
people, but everywhere you're seeing it. It's just little things. People are being much ruder about Quebecois people than I remember them being a few years ago. But Western Canadians hate people from Quebec on sight. On sight, they hate them. And so, but it was like for years, it was sort of like, it started to slide. Things are fine. Obama. And it was all this stuff. And then, and now it's like, just ramp it back up. Just let these fucking French Canadians, they're not doing anything. They're just over there electing corrupt mayors. Leave them alone.
That's because the governments of the world are trickling down sentiments of hatred and prejudice to distract everybody from the fact that they're all getting away with absolute terrible governing.
We're taking to it so quickly and comfortably. I think that's what's
Because
surprising.
it is
but it's across
familiar. It's
all-
familiar rhetoric.
No, but that's amazing. Like I just thought better of us, and that's my mistake.
It's also
my
different. The other thing I will just say, and I have a very unique. Oh, I'm so sorry for yawning like that. A very unique perspective. Oh my God, I felt that yawning on my fucking toes. You know when you really grab hold of it? You know what I mean, Ashley? Like, you fucking, you get in there and really let people know I'm bored. No. But in the last sort of 2 years, well, a lot of people, Chris has done a fair amount of traveling sort of back and forth across Canada, but I've been to like 5 countries a bunch, like Australia, the UK, Canada, 4, and the US. And all of them are in different stages of what kind of Chris is talking about, of this weird fallback, where America did this weird one where they did it like the furthest in 2016. And then from 2016 to kind of now, it's been this weird kind of like, woo, we went, what do we like? Whoop. Oops, sorry about that, everybody.
How
We
people
got
walk
carried
around
away
after
with
a
that
staff
progression.
Party. Like the next shift after a staff party, they're like, "Oh, things got a little bit out of hand. Sorry about that."
Chris, that is exactly what America feels like. Like, it was like, listen, some things went down. No one's happy about it. But you know what else? No one needs to talk about it. That's what's important.
But it's very much like if the boss at the staff party, rather than sexually harassing everyone, gave everybody a raise and was then just like, "Ugh."
Yeah, like it's like, but it's even weirder than that, where it's like, yeah, everyone's getting a raise, but also you're getting paid in mackerel. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then
Totally lost the thread on this analogy.
Ashley gets it.
No idea.
I get it.
But then the UK is in this weird way where like the UK is fucked. Like the UK is Greece in 2008. Like they are underwater. They're not doing anything. The Tories are literally like, well, we're in power, so we're going to keep it. The will of the people is they want a general election for the love of God. And it's just breeding like this level of apathy that's nuts. And then you're in Canada, and in Canada, everyone is like lividly, violently angry and wants to fucking kill everyone. Go ahead, Chris.
I got a notification on my phone. It's a It's from the Washington Post. It's editor's picks, and the headline is "When the sun sets and the magic ends, these birds wreak havoc."
That could be about politics. That could be about nature. That could be about women's rights. Like,
That's right.
The first thing I'm picturing is all the women on women violence I saw outside of Yates's in Brighton. That's these birds wreak havoc.
okay, before you go into that article, the chat must tell us what they think that article is about. Read the headline once more.
Okay, hold on. It's just opening now. Okay, that stupid phone. It was when the sun sets and the magic ends, these birds wreak havoc. It's a movie fucking tagline.
It must be a movie tagline.
Are you talking about the Yates in Brighton that's kind of on that main drag where all the nightclubs are? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, on West Street. Yeah, I used to work in the Fiddler's Elbow, which is in an alley just off West Street, and that's where all the fights happened. And so all the women would like go into the alley, beat the fuck out of each other. I saw one woman like threw a woman on the ground, ran out, grabbed a plastic chair from the patio, and while that first woman was getting up, she just started wailing on her. Saw another one chuck her over the shoulder, took off her high heels, started wailing. These like the most intense fights I've ever seen have all been two women fighting.
Insane.
I think
yes, Meatballs is guessing that it is chip theft.
Chip theft.
In Toronto, there was a bar called Bistro, I think 528 or something like that. Like it was a great shitty dive bar. I would take both of you there. We would get blackout drunk. Chris and I would end up in some sort of intellectual knife fight. Ashley would end up in an orgy with a bunch of witch queens. Anyway, it's a compliment.
Yeah.
I was walking in there and I saw a girl get.
Guess who now wants to be in an orgy with a bunch of witch queens?
Ashley. I saw one woman throw another woman up the stairs, and while that happened, the woman who was being thrown, her shoe fell off, and the woman who threw her then picked up the shoe and threw it at that person, and then just went. What was it? It was something like "Stay away from Brad, Monica," and it was just the least names you'd hear for people fighting. You're like, you're a Monica and you got swung on? That's wild, man. Gentrification has changed this neighborhood. You know what I mean?
There is actually, if you want to get into a witch orgy.
John's dad has entered the chat.
Wait, what is he
Old Stephen A. Singh dropped by to let you know that you should be wearing the Martha Coffee hat.
It's in the laundry. It was just
I love that your dad always just comes in to criticize your attire.
I mean, yeah, he's in many ways, he just wants to, because he's the one who gave me that hat. You want to sit out there, you know what I mean? It is a nice hat. It's a nice orange, but it's in the wash. He's on an airplane.
John, there's something going on with your microphone. There's a crackling that happens every time you speak.
Is it better now?
No.
Yes.
Oh, that might be on your end then, Chris. If
okay, maybe because I'm only getting it from John and not from Ashley.
Weird.
Still getting it? Because if not, then I'll shut up. I was just worried about it. I thought it might go away.
I'm hearing you okay at the moment.
Oh, okay, cool. It must just be something going on with my setup then. That's fine. I just wanted to double check. What were we talking about? John's dad is judgmental and we love it.
Yes, but apparently it's for a good reason.
That is true. I mean,
he's jealous of your attire. So
we all should be. My dad's just upset that all of my pants don't feature little American flags. Chris, you really missed something in Edinburgh this year, which was my dad's debuting of.
I missed your dad. I didn't get to meet your dad in Edinburgh.
You did meet my mom though.
I met your mom though, and she and I fell in love.
It's very easy to fall in love with my mom.
Yeah, I could have called that.
The best.
It was truly wonderful.
just popped in with her little knapsacks fresh from the archives. Oh my God, it's the best.
It was great.
That's it, by the way. I think I am going to do the Fringe. I think this is my last one. For the love of God, could the Fringe Society just pretend like they just don't want to just fucking kill us? Like it's the most like, what the fuck? Like do anything. Even like they're just like, last year was great. We're moving forward. And it's like, what? The city was covered in garbage and everyone went insane.
Yeah, it was an interesting year. I feel like that's going to happen again. I think that's going to happen again this year because they won't have sorted out the bins.
No, I mean, yeah. I feel like I will be in a better place because I'm not going to be fucking reliving my friend's death every fucking day. But still, I think it's gonna be an intense one. In that I think I'm the only one going. What is this?
Oh, that's just that is a yay. That's a link to an Aubrey Plaza movie that Ashley's going to absolutely adore.
Is it called Orgy to the Witch Queens?
When you were talking about orgies with witch queens, I was like, "There's a movie about that."
In the Middle Ages, a young servant fleeing from his master takes refuge at a convent full of emotionally unstable nuns. Introduced as a deaf mute man, he must fight to hold his cover as the nuns try to resist temptation. That is that is absolutely my movie. You know, okay, you know how I've been watching movies?
That's right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I've been watching some movies. I decided I was going to try and watch all of the Oscar-nominated Best Picture movies. And the first one I went to watch, I had already seen Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and one of the other ones I can't remember right now. This is the fourth one that I've watched, but it's the first one since the Oscars nominations came out. Top Gun Maverick, that was the other one. That movie is so much better than it had any right to be.
Listen, say what you want about Scientology. Tom Cruise knows how to fucking make a movie.
Knows how to fucking make a movie. Like,
God damn it. Like
the original Top Gun I thought was absolutely terrible, but the new one.
Whoa.
All right, while this fight happens, I'm going to go to the washroom. I'll be right back.
We have a raid. So I'm gonna think about that while we hit the raid.
Welcome to the Untitled Twitch stream with John and Chris and Ashley. Stick around and give us a follow. You are awesome.
Ships coming into Port Ashley.
That sounded like a tuba.
Who rated us? My internet's
Matt Blair. Matt Blair has rated us.
Matt Blair.
Welcome into Matt Blair's viewers.
I like that.
And Matt Blair himself.
Matt Blair's a good boy. He's a good man.
The original Top Gun is a terrible movie. I have never felt a soundtrack be shoved down my throat so aggressively.
What were you expecting from a movie called Top Gun?
The new one.
The new one only works because of the nostalgia and glory of the old one.
I totally understand that the new one only works because of the existence of the first one. But that does not mean that the first one is good.
I disagree. The first one is insane, therefore amazing. It makes no sense as a film.
It makes no sense. The soundtrack is shoved down your throat.
The soundtrack is glorious, and guess where you are headed?
But it is played repeatedly at points that make no sense.
What, you want them to fly silently?
No, I just like it's not even during the flight scenes. The flight scenes are the only reason that movie had any weight as a movie. But the scenes where he's like talking to a woman or any of the rest of the scenes are dog shit in terms of the music being there.
Are you drunk right now? That's what I thought.
I've never been so unnerved by you before.
I want you to know
I was a woman of pure derangement, and I am scared, and I really want Chris to come back.
Why? When they accused you of drinking?
I don't feel safe.
Why? No! Movie Top Gun is glorious, and here's why. It shows the true power of friendship and the true power of volleyball.
I was listening to all that thanks to the magic of Bluetooth technology.
I stand by it.
And Ashley made some really good points about how what you acknowledged that the second one is only good because of the existence of the first one, but that doesn't make the first one good. I don't like the first Top Gun either.
Thank you.
But I don't.
Thank you.
What do you not like about it?
I loved it.
I thought it was supposed to be like it's that thing of you watch it. It's the most 80s action movie ever. It makes they full fucking blue light against a wall for no reason. There is
But there's something about it. It lacks the fun of those other bad ones, like Roadhouse and Point Break. It doesn't have the like joy that I get from the other movies. It just doesn't connect with me that way. Like it's all the things that it should be, but it just doesn't fire those synapses.
To anybody that is in Kirsten's position that hasn't seen it and is dreading having to watch, I will say the first one, like, strap the fuck in. It's not fun.
I disagree. It's very
But-
fun.
But you will watch it, and then you will watch the second one, and you will be angry at yourself because of how much you will enjoy it.
I have no memories of the first one aside from all the scenes that are regularly spoofed.
Mhm.
And so I don't think you have to have seen the first one at all. You get it. It's not a complicated story. It's not the fucking Sopranos. You can jump in the middle.
I can quickly explain to it. In the first one, he has a friend. In the second one, he's with that friend's son. There you go.
Yeah.
And they make that so clear. They make that very obvious.
Sure.
I have not.
Anyway,
actually-
my original point that I was trying to get to
Go
was
ahead.
that I have watched the film, the recent remake of All Quiet on the Western Front.
Correct. That looks harrowing.
It's
like?
I regret every minute.
Whoa.
I
You're not on the side of Kaiser
Book is a-
Wilhelm?
I nearly turned it off 4 times
Yeah.
because it's really difficult to watch.
I bet.
So,
yeah. War is bad.
War,
Is it
it's
just incredibly
I'm-
gory?
I-
Is that what it is?
it's incredibly.
Everyone's saying that.
Say that again.
Everyone's going like, this movie is so hard to watch. It's brutal. Like, there's huge controversy over it being nominated.
Absolutely, like, I will never unsee it.
Oh,
Jesus. It really upset me, and the only reason I kept watching it, I can't believe that famously grim portrait of the bleakness of war is a grim watch.
We're all
It's
sitting down.
it really just kind of showcases the worst of humanity.
Mm.
That's why I like
Which is that's the book, you know?
These things happened, and that even though they've kind of been jumped up for cinematic value, it's not really an over exaggeration.
Oh.
It's really, really disgusting, actually, and I kind of wish I had turned it off. The only reason I didn't is because it was nominated for sound design, and the sound design is incredible. And that's kind of the only reason I kept watching it. But I paused it several times because I felt like I was going to get sick.
Mm.
I'm glad I wasn't watching it in a cinema. It felt like diluted on my screen a little bit.
Boomsticker, you are absolutely incorrect. Enemy at the Gates is a fun romp for the whole family. And Rachel Weisz has sex in it. So
yeah, it was.
Does she? I think it's Rachel Weisz, isn't it? And it's just like they're lying on their side in the camp with like they're all sleeping on the floor, and then she just like pulls her pants down a little bit, and he just opens his fly, and they just have like uncomfortable sex on a floor.
Ew.
Yeah.
It has made me reconsider my plan to watch all of the films because apparently there's quite a few of the other Oscar-nominated Best Picture movies that don't look that fun. Triangle of Sadness. I'm not excited. I'm not
me neither.
excited by that title. I don't know what it's about, but it's called Triangle of Sadness.
Sounds like you just made up a movie. That doesn't sound like a real movie. Triangle.
That's an Oscar-nominated movie.
I mean, people are raving about it.
I gotta tell you, I am so done with. After last year, when they didn't walk out and kick Will Smith out, fuck off, Oscars. You stink. Also, I've got to say, as someone who lives in Los Angeles, now the fucking Hollywood Boulevard's fucking shut down, and just actually the Sunset traffic is going to be so bad right in front of the In-N-Out Burger. That's really good. And you know what? I've been fucked enough this year.
It just started.
When we say we think you should watch more movies, we don't mean these movies. Fair
That's right.
point, David Orr. Yes, I really need to watch some other movies.
I've been keeping a list of the movies that I watched last year. Let me see if there's any standouts that.
Actually, can
that you
Chris and I
might-
curate a month of movie watching for you called the UTS Film Festival, and then you review all of the movies? We give you
I feel
30
like that's actually a very good plan, and everybody else can watch those movies along with us. I would like to request that those movies are available on streaming services that I can
Actually,
not have to pay for.
Have you watched Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe?
Oh, great question.
I am not going to watch that.
It's so fun.
Should
it's
watch
so
it.
fun. It's the opposite of All Quiet on the Western Front.
Actually,
it
which
is so fun.
You should start with Beavis and Butthead Do America, and then Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. Because Beavis and Butthead Do America has no right being that good, and it fucking rules. It rules.
Can I watch it on Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus, or Mubi?
I don't know.
I don't know. You're in another country, so you have a different bunch of movies.
Sure.
I live in Canada. I live in America. I am so tired, and I just heard the garage opening.
You just forgot what country you lived in.
Certainly did. I just heard the garage open, and I was like, "What the fuck is that noise? Is something up with the cats?" And I'm like,
I was
psycho.
Ones that are on my list are
Here we go.
Point Break, Tombstone.
Yeah.
Roadhouse. What was the other one? The so you only just mentioned Roadhouse. You haven't mentioned that before, so I didn't have it there. But the other one was the. Oh, it's one that you've mentioned a few times. The Birdcage.
Oh yeah, Birdcage. You might hate that, but it's great.
I'm sure I will, but it's one of the ones you tease me about never having seen. So I was really going for the "I'm going to prove you guys wrong" vibe.
Nathan Lane in the Birdcage. What? Just a splash of color. Oh, come on! It's the best. Do you wait? By the way, but strap
Coming
in
in
for
from Baldy, Tombstone is hot garbage. Yeah. I had no doubt that it was.
It's the best movie ever made.
That's not true.
There's never been a better movie.
And yes, Meatball's the same. Okay, look, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get a little bit. I'm gonna get a little bit sassy.
She's going
right
wide
now
with it. She's going wide.
Oh, I like this.
I'm sorry, but I was getting teased about not having seen any of these movies, and the chat fucking backed you guys up and started this rumor that I've never seen any movies. And now that I'm saying I'm going to watch these movies, you're all telling me that they're dog shit. Where were these opinions when I was getting teased for not having seen them?
Yeah, it's almost like people on the internet
This is
are
very unfair.
Like that. Yeah. What do you want? You're gonna. Oh my. Okay, Chris. Let's make a bet. Which of the 4 movies? Point Break.
Point Break. I need to make sure I definitely watch.
Yeah, you got it. Roadhouse is a top 3.
Okay, Point Break,
ridiculous
Roadhouse,
action movie.
Tombstone. What the
Tombstone.
fuck? Auf Wiedersehen and the Birdcage. What rank them, Chris? Which do you think Ashley's gonna like? Yeah, I'm gonna rank them too.
I think controversial. I think Roadhouse is gonna be number 1.
Interesting.
I think. Okay. I think it's gonna go, and I'm ready to be very wrong about this because there's a lot of variables. And I watched all these movies as a kid, so there's a warmth in my heart that you won't have for them. I think it's gonna go Roadhouse, Birdcage, Point Break, Tombstone.
Woo.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. For some of them are for reasons that I don't want to quite give away until you've seen it, and I'll make those. We can
That's
revisit this
okay.
after you've watched them.
I'm writing down you guys' predictions.
Yeah.
I
That's
saw
right.
that, yeah.
John, what order do you think I will prefer them in?
I interestingly am gonna say, and I am totally prepared to be wrong, and I'm pulling this directly out of mine asshole. It's gonna go Point Break, Birdcage, Tombstone, and Roadhouse.
Oh, we're flipping it on Roadhouse.
That's
We're gonna
right.
see. I think Sam. What's his name? Not Sam Neill.
Sam
Not Sam
Elliott?
Waterston. Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
I think Sam Elliott might flip it, and also
Wade Garrett. He's the best cooler.
Which one is Sam Elliott in?
He's got a big
He is
mustache.
in Roadhouse.
Yeah, he
Okay.
is. He's brag.
Actually, don't tell me too much more because it will sway me.
Actually, have you seen The Big Lebowski?
No,
I think you'll hate that.
Yeah.
I think I will too, and I think that's why I've never watched it because I know a lot about it. I have heard many of the references. I've been to bars that are themed around it.
I hate all of that. It's just a really fun way of doing a film noir, but I hate the culture around it.
I think I've seen a few clips and stuff as well, and I've always just been like, it's not for me, I don't think. But you know what? Do you want me to watch it? I'll put it up.
No, there are other ones that I'd rather put on the list than that because that feels like a slam dunk that you'll hate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would also be interested to make you watch like some of the weird documentaries that I love, like the Morton Downey Jr. documentary. It was the basically he was like the first Bill O'Reilly or now Piers Morgan or Nigel Farage.
I don't
Let me
want to
ask
watch
you-
that.
No,
It's
that's a very
fascinating.
John. I want
I
to wallow
really
in the
don't wanna
depths of
watch that.
humanity.
It's not wallowing, it's understanding, learning, growing.
You know what was way
I
better
don't.
than
I
it
don't
should have
need to
been?
understand that because I've grown up as a woman.
You know it was really fun. The last Charlie's Angels.
Damn it.
I watched the last Charlie's Angels the other day, the one from 2019.
Was
Very
it the
fun.
one with Kristen Stewart?
Yeah.
What?
I've watched that too. It's really
good.
fun. I watched it.
really
It was
fun.
like a great movie to watch with my dad.
I had no idea this was a thing. When did this happen?
Great. 2019. Everyone hated it. Everyone was shitting on it. And I don't know why. It was really good.
It was.
I mean,
it
for
was,
what it is. For Charlie's Angels, which is inherently fluff. It's not. You watch the ones with fucking Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu and Cameron Diaz. They're dog shit. They're fun, but they're not good.
They're fun
movies.
and iconic, but they are not good movies.
Yeah, but it's just very fun. It's not like it's not going to blow anyone's mind. It doesn't change a genre, but it's just good. They just do a good job of a fun thing.
Yeah, they're basically. I always think they're like. They're sort of Austin Powers-esque. Like they're so bad. I should say I made that reference. I've never seen Austin Powers.
Oh wow,
I
that
do.
you want to talk about a movie that there's no way stands up. That there's
No.
no way it was
I
definitely
don't want to
of a
see it.
moment.
Seen it.
I've seen
wanna
too
watch
many
it
clips
so
of it,
bad.
and I do not want to watch it. It makes me violently uncomfortable.
I mean, Ashley, do you really want to see a movie that gave pop culture 3 years of people just walking up to other people and going, "Do I make you horny?"
Ugh. Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
I hate it so much.
I mean, that and
I saw it come up on Netflix the other day, and I watched the trailer or the clip thing that it plays automatically, and I was just like, no. I will never see that, and I'll be okay with it.
You say that though. That movie still. I remember like that movie when I was fucking 12. Shit, my pants would.
Oh my god! When he gets caught in the cart and he's the wrong way in the hall.
I was about to bring up this. The fucking.
Oh, funny.
Tom
So
Arnold
funny.
unnecessarily playing a cowboy who talks him through
I
strength.
really-
and
I
he's taking
don't-
big shit.
I don't go
What does
for.
number 2 work for?
Yeah.
I do not go for silly. I find silly really difficult.
Must hate this show then.
I will say this show has challenged me a lot. I find silly really difficult, and I mean, there's you guys must know this though, because I just freeze sometimes. I just don't know how to interact with you guys.
Yeah. We've seen it.
you
It happened
see
earlier
it.
in the show. It happened during the trophy.
It's happened several times in the show. I really struggle, but you guys are palatable for me, and it helps challenge this
Thanks, we
innate
love
part
you
of me
too.
that's really uncomfortable.
It's working with you for over 2 years. May I just say this? I don't think it's ever been more of an Irish sentence more than "I don't go for silly."
Yeah, I feel like that's something
But I
George
said this to
Bernard
a-
Shaw said to somebody once.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that Jerry Adams said to
You
somebody.
mean
before.
George Bernard Shaw?
Yeah,
Oh, Bernard. He insisted that it be pronounced
No.
Bernard.
It's Bernard.
He's a big
Bernard.
fan of Bernard
Bernard.
Manning.
I said this to a friend of mine the other day, and he suggested that I watch the film Airplane.
You
1980.
Yes.
that movie.
Yes.
You don't think silly?
I watched the trailer, and I really can't stomach the idea of watching it.
It's you have
Everyone
to watch.
be-
It's
everyone be quiet right
relentless.
now.
It's
If my father is
relentless.
still watching this stream, he is at his house in Houston, Texas, and he's in another room with his now wife, and he is just saying phrases from Airplane to her out of context. That is guaranteed. She is chopping something, I assume, and he has just walked in and gone, "It's a bad week for me to stop sniffing glue." Completely out of context. 100%. I would bet the fucking farm on it right now that he has just said smoking and then expected to be handed a smoking ticket. You seem
I really hope that's true.
I'm gonna watch Airplane tonight.
I wanna
after
watch it.
Sports are over. I'm gonna watch it.
Do you know what's really funny is that he said that, and then I was meant to go to the cinema on Monday, and it was one of the films that was randomly they just randomly show older films, and that was one of the films that was there. And I was
I would
I
love
was
to watch
actually
that in the
gonna
movie theater.
I was meant to be going with somebody, but they ended up canceling on me.
Oh. Watching in a movie theater and laughing at the dumbest movie ever made.
I think
is
it would have been
something I
nice to
would-
go and
I
see
would
it
adore.
with somebody in a cinema.
So
But
that- autopilot.
Let me ask. Chris,
So
let me ask you a
stupid.
question.
Aren't you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? No.
It's good to bring up. It's also there's a very deep basketball reference that there's no way Ashley's gonna understand. That's so a part of that whole thing. Wait, Chris. Next time you see my mom, Ashley can do it too. Just drop a Shirley. You can't be serious because let me tell you what's coming right back at you.
Yes,
I am serious.
Yeah.
Shirley.
And don't call me Shirley.
Can we end the stream and now just go watch Airplane together as well? That was, like, actually seriously watch it and actually videotape your reactions. I guarantee you.
And Ashley,
Ashley,
oh my god, it's so funny. And Ashley, it's aside from being the silliest goddamn things ever made, it's genuinely like a masterclass on how important it is to play comedy straight.
Yeah,
to absolutely never blink, never smile at the camera. You mean everything you say in this goddamn movie, and that's why it's so funny.
So Airplane is the movie that made Leslie Nielsen go from a quote unquote kind of like a weird B movie leading. Yeah, there, right there. That movie. I remember being like 7 years old, and Airplane was on television, and my mom, I was like, "What are we gonna do tonight?" She's like, "We're watching Airplane," and I was like, "Shut your mouth, little boy. It's time for you." Oh, it's so. I still think the best line though it is, "What a week for."
Picked a hell of a week to start sniffing clips.
I will watch it.
I
won't enjoy it. I know I won't enjoy it.
You
but I
might
will
enjoy
watch it.
parts of it. You'll enjoy parts of it.
Because also it's actually it's one of those things. It's like watching like it's so done with love and joy how stupid it is. Like there's a scene where there's a woman being hysterical and like someone's speaking or something goes out of the way. I'm a doctor, and it makes no sense whatsoever. It's all like 1,000 sketches. Can you please while you're watching it, can you text us in the group?
I will do that.
Minute reactions.
It's so stupid. I love it so much. I can't wait to watch it tonight. I'm very excited.
When the kids are drinking coffee, I assume you're just going to throw some of your possessions out the window.
I will give you a minute by minute update.
Oh my god. Okay. What are other
they bought their tickets. They got on the plane. I say, let them die.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think Patty's making a good point here that it's not.
Maybe watch it with someone,
because you need to kind of get lost in the giggles with it. Like it builds and builds and builds.
Like if I was with you, I would say let's smoke a bunch of weed and watch it because holy shit.
I would start smoking weed again to do that with you guys. I would love that. That would be so
maybe
fun.
I should save it and we should do this as our reunion event.
We're still gonna watch Airplane and just not stream it because I would totally do that. Just fuck the listeners completely.
And to everyone saying Naked Gun and Hot Shots, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Naked Gun
And I'm actually
so
gonna put there. Hot Shots Part 2 for me.
Are they other movies?
Certainly
they're
are.
other. Yeah, they're other, but they're equally silly. So if you don't like Airplane, you won't like these.
Actually, I actually disagree. Naked Gun is even more stupid than like Naked Gun is criminally insanely stupid. And
Naked Gun has O.J. Simpson in it, which is jarring. But
yeah, very jarring.
He spends the whole movie just getting the shit kicked out of him. He doesn't win once the whole time. He gets hit by a bus. He gets stabbed. He gets shot a bunch of times. He gets thrown off a boat. Dragged under a car for 100 miles. It's they really beat the hell out of that guy.
There is a sequel to Airplane.
Yeah, Airplane 2. Don't do that.
Airplane 2, the sequel.
Do not watch that.
No,
that's not a good idea. Also, this is a dark fact about Airplane that may make you like it, Ashley, is that the guy who wrote Caddyshack and Animal House saw it and thought it was so stupid that he went to Hawaii, did a bunch of cocaine, and killed himself because he thought comedy had passed him by.
Wow.
Yeah, Doug Kenny.
Oh dear.
I invented
Imagine making Caddyshack and being upset.
Caddyshack was another one
Movies
you
are
guys
dumb.
said.
Oh God, I want to have a thing called Ashley Fest, and it's a film festival of silly movies that I know you hate. And it's 2 screens. One screen is the movie, the other one is just your face, just like
I was thinking the exact same thing. Just unimpressed Ashley face.
Like
or bored.
I could just like set up a camera and stream myself with no sound.
So
funny. Let me tell you what character actually you're gonna fucking hate, and that is Chevy Chase in oh my god, Discord watch party. We might need to set this up.
Yeah, I think we
Chevy Chase in Caddyshack is everything you hate about the male of the species. Like when I want to see your face when he goes no.
I don't understand that, but I already
will when we
hate
watch.
it.
You're gonna hate Caddyshack.
I think we should watch Airplane. If we're gonna do a Discord watch party, and I have no idea how to set that up, we should
I
watch
can set it
Airplane.
up.
If you can set that up, this week is hell for me. I have to go to Moncton, but
I have to move, and I have a very big job interview and a wedding this week. So yeah,
We're
this
not
week
doing it
isn't
this
good
week?
for me.
If we do
We
it-
also don't have a stream next weekend for all the above reasons.
Yeah. We should tell everyone there's no stream next weekend because Ashley is moving, John is traveling, and I am going to Mexico. So none of us are here. There's nothing to be done. We apologize for living baller lives.
When you are down in Mexico, I annoyingly can't remember the fucking song enough to make this question work.
Straight facts, Bobity.
Down in a West Texas town of El Paso. Is that the
No,
song?
that's not that song. Fuck, what are the fucking lyrics to the fucking?
Ashley's never heard
I'm
the
so
song.
annoyed at myself now.
You're trying to sing Tequila because it's just tequila.
No, I'm trying to sing "Down in Mexico" by the Coasters.
Oh.
Are you? Oh, that's the fucking lyric I was trying to remember. Are you
What
going
happened?
to meet a boss cat named Joe?
I will now.
Yeah.
Now I will.
It's the only thing you can do in Mexico now that you've found out about Boss Cat Joe.
And everyone that I meet that's named Joe, I'm going to be like, oh, I hear you're a real boss cat. And then they're just not going to talk to me anymore. And that'll be fun too.
Well,
Chris, do you know how likely it
alienating
is?
Joes.
you were. I just couldn't remember that one fucking line. But you know, I think you should find him. He wears a purple sash and a black mustache.
Chris, are you going to an all-inclusive?
No, I've got an Airbnb. I was going to do an all-inclusive because I like the idea of doing nothing and never having to worry about anything, but they were all either like kind of crappy or $5,000.
Yeah, because it's pretty last minute. Because the problem is it's Canadian winter, and let me tell you where every fucking Canadian is right now. Ashley, if you ever want to have a real Caddyshack experience, but in real time, go to an all-inclusive resort in Mexico between the months of December and March. And a bunch of people from Ontario are going to be real
One
racist.
person got the reference. One person.
I'm not a big Toasters guy.
And you got to go. Make sure to go to an adults only. I was reading a lot of like reviews of different all-inclusives while I was doing research, and definitely go to an adults only one. But then visit when you get bored. Visit a family one, and then just remind yourself how great it is to not have kids. And that's
that song was a movie reference, and 2 people in the chat got it. So
What movie? One of those weird
Death
art
Proof.
movies. You love?
Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof.
That's the only Tarantino I've never seen.
Me too.
It is my favorite.
Actually, I
It
haven't
is-
seen his last one either.
It is
What's
my
About Time in
favorite.
Hollywood?
I fucking
Yeah, I still haven't
love
watched
that
it. I keep
movie.
meaning to.
I will watch it. Because Death Proof is the one with
I'm
Kurt
gonna
Russell.
watch all of your shitty movies, and you guys are gonna watch Death Proof.
Fucking watch Death Proof. You
No,
want
happily. I just never got
Death
around to it.
Proof is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is one of the best soundtracks to a film, I think, of all time. It's I love it. I love it so much.
I remember when Grindhouse came out, people were so affronted that they did that. The 2000s was such a shitty decade in every fucking describable measurement, like just a cultural wasteland.
Yeah.
How are you going to talk about Lance Bass like that?
I mean, I said what I said. And also, I don't think it would be. It was more of a Clay Aiken decade.
I meant his acting career.
Wait, are we talking about the noughties or the 2010s?
The noughties. The 2010s were, if anything, just a fucking thrill ride of insanity.
I think
Sure.
the naughties had their charm.
What, 9/11? Listen, we all enjoyed 9/11. Like, Manning, when you're
We
right,
had-
you're right.
I am right.
Yeah, people were very excited about it, and my favorite thing I haven't seen either of the Grindhouse movies, but I love that a commercial for Machete turned into a full movie.
I like that a commercial for a hobo with a shotgun launched two different.
Do you guys know why Death Proof is a movie?
Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino wanted to bring back old double bill, ultra violent 50s driving movies or something. Sand? Was it about sand?
I assume they were
women with guns for legs. Was it about that?
Were they doing coke and then there's no one said no until it was too late?
That's right. It was cocaine. I forgot that was the reason they put it. They
The
got a special
whole
thanks
movie-
at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie was made for Zoe Bell, who I don't know if you know who Zoe Bell is, but she was Uma Thurman's stunt double for the Kill Bill movies.
Oh,
And
you told
they
me.
fucking loved working with her so much that Quentin Tarantino just wrote a movie where she could do whatever fucking stunt she wants. And so there's a scene in Death Proof. You'll know it. It's like she's on a car, and that doesn't give away too much, but you'll see the scene and she's fucking doing that stunt at full speed. Like, it's insane. And the whole movie just exists because he wanted an excuse to work with Zoe Ball like properly. And she's not even playing a character. She is just in the movie as Zoe Ball. Zoe Bell. I saw David Hoare say Zoe Ball and it confused me. Her name is Zoe
I know
Bell.
that's Fatboy Slim's wife
Yeah.
or ex-wife, probably.
Yeah, Zoe Bell.
Nice lady. Very nice lady.
Just what Fatboy Slim has been brought up. I was watching Dairy Girls, by the way. Hard recommendation. Everyone watch Dairy
So good.
Girls. So good.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah. It's so crazy when Tommy Tiernan's the least funny person on a fucking TV show. Anyway,
I know, right?
was
still great.
Still great. Perfect. Was Fatboy Slim that big? They portray Fatboy Slim being like
he was
fucking
it, man.
Like the Beatles.
Yeah, he was,
I mean, he was.
fucking gigantic.
Like I remember, like the Rockefeller Skank or whatever that. Is that song? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
The Funk's Yo Brother. Right about. That's insane. I had no idea.
Yeah, he was huge. He was
Yeah.
Also got to see him. He did because he lives in Brighton, so he played a surprise unannounced gig at the nightclub that I worked at on my one night off. And I remember my brother Brendan was working. I got him a job. He came out to live with me in the UK for 6 months when he graduated high school, and he just sent me a text. He was like, "Come to audio right now." And I was like, I'm gonna watch Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I'm tired. I don't.
2006, baby.
I don't want to go to the place that I work. And he's like, I'm not kidding, and I'm not telling you why. Get here right now, right now. And I was like, fine, fuck. Brendan doesn't insist on anything. He's a very relaxed person.
Oh.
And then I walked in, and he was like, and I was like, is that Fatboy Slim? He went, told you. I was like, nah, fair enough. Let's go. Here we go. He was having the most fun. Him and DJ Jazzy Jeff are the two people I've seen have the most fun performing of anybody ever. No one is enjoying their work more than those two guys.
I'm gonna say this right now. Fatboy Slim is the best part of the HBO.
John is dressed as Life Aquatic.
Fatboy Slim is the best part of the Woodstock '99 documentary, where they talk about a truck driving into the like the rave cave and just how insane it was. And he was like, "Listen, I've been in some fuck situations, but like, how the fuck do you get a tractor in the fucking tent, man?" What I love about about 50% of all British celebrities just turn out to be posh people, and then the other 50% are just like a guy who would be selling you a ladder in a pub garden, but it turns out they can fucking make a beat. You know what I mean? It's like,
Because We Can is the best part of Moulin Rouge. It's fucking a vibe.
No, the best part is John Leguizamo running around like a loot, dressed as a loot, going, "I only tell the truth. I only tell the truth." That's the best part.
That does contend for the best part.
Yeah, I have a question. Was Elvis nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars? No,
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was.
It's a lot of movie. That's what I walked away from that.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a very much movie.
What did you think of it? I loved it,
I haven't
but like
seen it yet.
it was fucking nuts. Like it was just like I was like every time because they just focused on so many weird things, and it was also like they embellished a story that I was like, they didn't need to embellish this. Like,
it was exhausting. It's exhausting to watch. It's so.
Yes, it
what's
is.
his name?
It
Rob
is nominated.
Bebenek. What's the name of that director?
Baz Luhrmann.
Baz Luhrmann. Yeah, it's the most Baz Luhrmann fucking.
No, Moulin Rouge is the most Baz Luhrmann thing ever.
No, because this really just like pulls it out and tries to like. It's like he's trying to hypnotize you with every third shot.
I really feel like Romeo and Juliet is the most Baz Luhrmann movie.
That movie rules. That movie's so good.
The movie does rule. Everyone, I just want that Hawaiian shirt. That movie does rule. Also, that movie really points that Paul Rudd is a vampire because he looks the same.
He looks the same, and he's like 17 in that.
Yeah,
That's
that movie.
crazy. Same with Clueless. You watch Clueless, and you forget that Paul Rudd is the stepbrother.
It's insane. Paul Rudd.
That was 96.
Wild.
Yeah. That's almost 30 years ago.
I do not think I'm going to end up seeing all of these movies, but
I mean, I gotta tell you, the Academy Awards, especially now because they try and like make it so they actually pick popcorn films, it just seems like a drudge because it's like fucking like art, gentlemen, listen to flowers, and then the next movie is like Explosion Time with Bill Penis. Like it's just so fucking.
I kind
I
of like
don't
that though.
want to watch something called Triangle of Sadness.
I mean,
unless that's what we
You don't wanna
changed the
watch
name of this
silly
show to.
You don't want to watch set. Pick
Yeah.
a thing. Ashley. What do you want?
Yeah. You don't want to cry.
Just
You
the perfect in between, please.
It's called Banshees of Inisherin.
It's the Banshees of Inisherin, yeah.
I'm
It's
very
the halfway point of silly and bleak.
I'm literally saving the Banshees of Inisherin for my flight to Australia or to my flight to England, and I'm fucking jacked. That's the big
Say the name of the movie again, John.
Banshees of Inisherin.
You don't know how to say Inisherin, do you?
Not.
There is a scene, John. Can you take off your headphones for a second? I want to talk about a scene with Ashley that you're not allowed to hear.
Anybody else who has not seen the movie,
Yeah, if you haven't seen
just tune
Banshees,
out. We'll
mute-
wave when
mute
you
the
can
stream.
come back.
So the bit where he goes over there and it seems like he's about to kill the dog.
Yeah.
And there's that tension of like, don't kill the dog, man. And then,
He's not going to, though.
But I think that John's going to be so fucking tense that he's going to hurt the person sitting next to him on the plane.
Yes.
Okay, come back. Okay.
That's a good prediction.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
for
definitely
sure,
going to
yeah.
happen. That's definitely going to happen. I just wanted one specific scene in the movie that I think is going to affect you deeply.
It's going to affect you, John. It
Sure.
is.
And
I
the
mean-
whole plane's going to know about it.
Yeah.
And that's-
Well, I don't know the amount of edible marijuana products I take for an international flight at this point. Like I'm pretty muted. Like it's
I feel like that's going to feed what we were talking about.
oh great.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll find out together. I'm just you know what? I'm just happy that Brendan Gleeson just he's just having a nice career. It's just nice.
Yeah. And
It's so good.
and Colin Farrell. I think Colin Farrell's been overdue some credit.
Yeah, there's a couple of things with like when he was in that Strange Beast, Fantastic Beasts.
What?
I don't know if you saw that, the Harry Potter prequel thing.
Yeah.
He was in that, and I was a bit like, I don't think I'm ready for Colin Farrell yet. And then, but then he came back and was
Have you ever
wonderful.
seen the movie Phone Booth?
Yeah, it was terrible.
I thought it was great.
Absolutely ridiculous film.
This is the
I
problem.
saw it in
with Chris.
theaters. I saw it when it came out. It was-
Chris just decides that certain things aren't fun, and it's really annoying. Like he'll just be, in the same way that he'll be like, "This is a real thing," and you're like, "The fucking Loch Ness monster isn't fucking."
The Loch
real."
Ness monster's in there. Where there's
Oh.
mounting proof. There's mounting proof.
I got your fucking mounting proof right here, motherfucker.
Phone Booth is stupid and good. Thank you, Tuck.
Yes,
Maybe I have to watch it again. Maybe I was
I gotta
was
tell you, I am-
particularly pretentious when it came out.
Oh my god, that movie
So-
I think is really fun, and I am.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. Who's the
Okay.
other?
Maybe
who's the
I'll watch that.
other
I'll put that on
Phone
my list.
Do
It's-
it.
because it's Colin Farrell, and who's the other person in it?
I'm
I feel-
Google it 'cause I cannot remember. It's a while since I watched it.
I saw it when I attended Ottawa U. Oh yeah, Inside Man. I rewatched that. It's
Oh
fucking
yeah, it is.
awesome.
It's Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland is the
It's
other.
Kiefer Sutherland and what's his face is in it as well.
Phone Booth, Mr. Booth to you.
Forrest Whitaker.
Oh yeah, one of the main hosts. Forrest Whitaker had a career assault when he was in The Shield, and he was Idi Amin. Woo!
And don't forget Ghost Doug, an all-timer.
He was one.
You guys haven't seen Ghost Doug? About a criminal who follows the way of Bushido?
No.
This is very pretentious.
It's so funny. It's really weird and very good. And it's Forrest Whitaker who plays like a car thief who follows the way of Bushido. There's an Italian gangster who does all of Flava Flav's rap from one Public Enemy song.
Go fuck yourself. No,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Oh no, he's not. No, he's an assassin. He's not a car thief. He's an assassin.
Oh, that makes all the difference in the world.
Thank you, Yes Meatballs. Thank you very much. Ghost Dog Way the Samurai is dope. It is very dope. It's a fucking great movie, and I can't wait to watch it again.
We'll see. I'm not
Ghost
putting
Dog
it on the
shows-
list. If it
they
comes
show
up,
you
it
how to
comes
build
up.
a silence.
Actually, are you going to watch any of these movies this week? Or are we going to have a review of A Pod Right?
I would commit to it if it wasn't for the week that was in it. It's a busy week ahead, but that might mean that I need some downtime. So we'll see. But I might try and get at least one of them in.
Well, I'm going to be in the last 2 weeks of February. I'm just going to have an apartment in Montreal, and my time will be my own. So, if any of those days work for an airplane watch along,
Yes,
and I'm not smooching a damoiselle, then I'm around. I'm
Is
ready.
there a damoiselle to smooch on the cards?
I mean, it's Montreal. There's always a damoiselle to smooch on the cards. That city's chock full of damoiselles.
It is true.
Nice.
It's a If you're not careful, you'll
I
quite frankly.
I recently did some smooching.
Oh
yeah, smooch.
3 minutes
It-
left to go on the show. You absolutely.
It was.
He-
It's not a huge story, but
Go on.
I would like it to be known where I did it, and I'm gonna say it in the private chat.
Is it the bus? That is a reference to the movie The Ladies. Actually, do not watch that movie. The Ladies' Man.
Yeah. That's made for that though. Every time I go in, I think people do that here.
But this person was meant to be working.
Were they working? Where were they meant to be working? Ashley, put that in the chat.
in that venue.
Wait, but doing what though? Do you see?
On
what
like
I'm saying?
On stage?
No, like
Well-
in the venue for the venue.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, naughty. How? Who initiated? This is
Hold on. Yeah. Lick his teeth, John. Lick his teeth.
What is this?
You really like that movie.
It's an Elvis mug.
Yeah.
That's an Elvis mug. Oh my gosh.
This is independent. You like
I
just always wanted an Elvis mug. This is his face.
So we had gone on a date, and they then were going to work, and I joined them at work and was given some alcohol, and then I did the initiating of what I did first was I said, "Are there security cameras in this hallway?"
Yes.
Because I wasn't sure if they had. I wasn't sure if they had been added since I worked there.
That's a great question. It's a great question, but you should not have answered because you just gave away where that happened.
So good. Absolutely. Just gave the whole thing away. The more you know, the more you know.
That is the week.
That's it. It's UTS within
Ashley?
2 hours.
You know what? That is.
That's for you, Ashley. Everyone stand up. Someone brought it this week.
That was one of the first times that I've said something that was meant to be private chat. You know what, folks? If you're here for this part of the show, enjoy it because you rarely get to know what the private chat is. In fairness to us, we don't fuck that up too often.
No, we're really good. We're really good. I dropped the ball once where I full said the name. But you just one time, yeah.
That's fun. I said the quiet part out loud. I did, David Hoare. Whoopsie.
What are you, a far-right YouTuber?
All right, let's get out of here. Let's let John sleep.
Yes, where are we going?
We all know where Ashley's off to.
10:30 streamed a perfect scan of his passport.
Oh no.
That's incredible. Yeah, we'll drop the ball once.
Will Duggan did drop the ball once.
Oh
well, there you go. It wasn't the biggest reveal. I think 2 people had already guessed it in the chat, so it wasn't a huge surprise. But I was trying to be
Joel Domit's dick.
That's fucking hilarious.
I mean, I gotta tell you, the amount of people that watch that Joel Dommett jack-off video, like I know more than one comedian that watched the whole thing.
The whole when I was at Top Secret later that day, and I was the only person who hadn't seen it. Everybody was talking about Joel Dommett's fat hog.
Oh
I did not watch it. I no.
That's the right thing to do.
It's very uncomfortable. No. If either of you guys had a sex tape leaked, I wouldn't watch it either.
No, it's no fun when you know the person.
Here's the thing.
Weird. I accidentally ran into porn that was made by someone that I knew who worked in porn, and I was like, I watched some of it because I was curious, but then I moved on. It was right there. It was her job, so I felt less weird about it. It's not like
fair enough. Yeah, that was morally reprehensible.
Yeah,
I just remember that someone pointed out that the weirdest part of the whole sex tape was just they had a bunch of all of his Edinburgh posters framed behind him. They thought that was just that's probably the more embarrassing
part. A lot
part.
of people have that though.
Yeah, but not framed behind where you're doing a jack video. You know what I mean? It's that's the thing.
He wasn't recording it for distribution.
He was, but he was recording it for sexy, alluring times.
He didn't know it was being recorded at all.
Correct.
Yeah, no, he thought it was a live chat. He thought it was a live
Yeah.
chat.
Thought it was a live chat. I'm more just saying, like, that if I'm a lady and I'm watching someone have a real pound on their pud, and I look behind and see a bunch of their face, I'd be like, all right, my bean no longer needs flicking.
I don't know. Women like confidence. That's been well documented by Cosmopolitan magazine.
That's
I think I've fucked so many comedians, I probably just wouldn't have even noticed.
That's the saddest thing you've said on the show. There it is. We did it. That's the saddest one.
Oh my God! Someone get a skywriter. I'm having that paid to be emblazoned in the sky over Edinburgh, Scotland this year. Oh my God!
Oh, dear. Okay, let's leave before I say anything else incriminating.
I disagree. Ladies and gentlemen, head on over to our Patreon, where next week we'll be recording an episode with Ashley where she's giving away her NIN number. We will see you.
No, we won't be here next week, remember?
That's right. Some of that, yeah, well, some of this is exaggerated.
We'll be around. Watch this space for an airplane. Watch along. Ashley's going to organize that at some point because
jump into the Discord if you want to join that. I'm gonna queue up. We're gonna head over to Fox Comedy.
Dope. Love me some Fox. He was in earlier. Only seems right.
He was exactly.
Thanks so much for coming in, everybody. Podcast listeners, fuck you. Viewers, we love you. Join our Patreon. The last episode was great. I thought it was a really fun one.
Patreon was fun. Our Patreon episodes are always quite fun.
I think they're really good. We name names. It's very fun.
We do name names.
John's gonna drink a candle and die. We love you. Raid messages. I fucked so many comedians I wouldn't have noticed.
Ashley, you're the best. You're the best. King
I
Gio.
love you guys too.
Oh, Gio, what's up?
Gio, hits the replay. This one was a fucking banger. It was an absolute fucking. I haven't slept. Ashley's just fucking brought it. Chris is, Chris.
Just hanging out. I'm gonna go watch football.
Oh dear. Okay. Here's an old lady talking about sex. Goodbye.
That's all. Penis into her vagina. That's all. called sexual intercourse. Some people call it having sex. So the man passes the sperm to the woman, and now his sperm is